And we're live. Thank you for coming back to the Gee Squad. We have created a space to talk about all that life brings us on and off the mats. Today's episode is about injuries and pain, or the fear of pain, or the fear of injuries. It's a funny topic for me because the first thing I thought of was my kids, right, and how they process things a lot differently. I have an absolutely ridiculous threshold for pain, probably not normal human being. Very stubborn on top of that, and that is not always a good mix.
Not a good combination, no.
I was in a very physical sport before, or basically a crash test dummy, rolling off horses, getting kicked, bitten. I had a horse fall on me, all these things. So then I get into this contact sport at the age of beep, and it's like you literally getting back on the horse. I'm getting beat up again. I get bruises and stuff, and it's a part of it. It's not a bad thing. I'm a glutton for punishment. So True Confessions by Amanda. I like this because of that reason. I haven't had, knock on wood, I haven't had a ton of injuries related to jiu-jitsu. I'm very careful, though. I have some incredible partners, too, that are also much more educated than me. Mostly my injuries have been me getting out of I've hit myself in the face like 3 times. I stubbed my own toe. It's all me. I'm getting out of my own way, which is, amongst other episodes we've talked about. I thought about the kids, and I was like, here we are sideline. We've talked about being bench moms, and, obviously when your kid is hurting or they do something that I think we've been pretty lucky with our kids not getting hurt because they're mostly made of rubber and they're not like older like we are. We're always like, you're fine,
drink some water,
have a cookie, and then I think about how I would deal with it, and they aren't the same. And I think it has something to do with age or experience or whatever it is. So we've all been really lucky, I think, knock on wood. I know you got injured Natalie got injured in a competition, and that was hard because then we had to roll with you for a while, and we're always like, are you okay? Are you okay? I think that's the most important thing about either getting injured or thinking about getting injured is being careful. I mean, that kind of coincides with some of our future topics, which is being careful about who you roll with. Yeah. And, just choosing your battle, literally, and take time too. Like, my sciatic is a constant thing, I think. And so when it acts up, of course, then you're guarded, and then you make yourself hurt in another way because you roll.
You overdo it in another
you're
sense.
like compensating constantly. Take time. Don't roll after class, or maybe stretch more, or you're not going to the Olympics tomorrow, so it's not a big deal. But for me, in our brain processes, pain is a funny thing. That is one of the few things that your brain actually processes in every single lobe of your brain. It relays info in the thalamus. It's located in the parietal lobe, the amygdala, and the I forget how you say it. There's 4 parts of the cortex, but all 4 they all do different jobs. Just for this one feeling, which is crazy. And then you have the emotional aspect of it, right? Like that's your amygdala and part of the cerebral cortex. And that is...
You're talking about the dubulum oblongata or whatever it's called?
Yes.
The one that they talk about in Waterboy. That's the only reason why I know how to pronounce it.
But, and how we respond, again, here we go back to the kid thing. You're like, drink some water, right? And for us, we're like, I'm going to go back and do it again, or not. Maybe we're like,
or the opposite.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Or we hide in a corner so nobody can see us
in a week. Like whatever, however you respond to it. Of course, kids are different. I have one child that will just brush it off and keep going and roll harder. And the other one is all the drama, over nothing that you're like, you're actually fine.
Yeah.
Mine is terrible. It's not good. I will work through pain so much, and that's just a personal choice. But yeah, taking time I think is really important, whether you're feeling the pain or you're feeling rickety, like I feel rickety some days, or you're feeling good and then you get yourself, a little bump or a bruise. I did it with your husband the other day. I was like, And I think I'm done, actually.
Yeah. That was
I
it.
just
I
made
think
a
I was
big
there when you said
mistake,
that.
and it could have gotten worse.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he even looked at me like, that wasn't good. So know your limits for sure. But it's gonna happen, bumps and bruises. It's no different than going out of the house every day. You could get a bump and a bruise any other way.
That actually makes it more annoying when you hurt yourself like outside of jujitsu, because then you're like, oh my gosh, no, I can't go to jujitsu.
I know.
Yeah.
That is
that
fact.
laundry
Because I
basket.
bent down
yeah.
weird and hurt my knee.
Yeah.
I
like-
threw away a piece of paper and now I'm in a chiropractor.
Yeah.
I think anything that you do, you have a chance to get injury anyway,
Yeah.
you know? And even like okay, so I don't do anything. Yeah, if you're sitting on a couch watching TV, you still
You're
have
still messing
a
up your
chance
body.
Yeah.
because, if you sit too much, you're not going to be able to stand up or, do your normal thing. So it's a kind of injury also.
Yeah.
So
it
I
is.
think
Yeah, absolutely.
everything
Your heart,
has...
too.
You
you
can't
know.
live in a bubble. If you live in a bubble, you're not going to experience anything. So that's part of it. It's
You're not
you
gonna
want to
live.
experience life. Like it's gonna be risky. You walk outside, there's a risk. There's a risk to it all. And nowadays, I think that with jiu-jitsu also we see it's a combat sport. So it's definitely the chances are there. But it happens with pickleball. It happens with yoga. My coworker went to traveling, hurt her back. It just happens with everything that you do. There's a chance it's going to happen. Obviously, in a combat sport, the chances might be a little higher. Than an injury might come here and there, but learning to deal with it is part of the process, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're pretty stubborn. I think most of us are, and so most of us are going to power through the small injuries. And maybe sometimes we should take time off rather than.
Yeah.
But guess what? Just like we do it once a month, we kind of power through a lot, and we realize how capable our bodies are of getting through something if you want to.
Yeah.
Your will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It will definitely show you where your power of will is at. I hear a lot, if you ever want to do something, you'll find a way to do
Find a
it.
way. Yeah.
You will.
When I got injured in the competition, I got armbarred pretty bad, and I remember I couldn't roll for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a long time for me.
time.
I
Gives me goosebumps.
enjoy rolling.
That's
yeah.
very hard for
3
Natty.
weeks. 3 long weeks. And I remember it was pretty hard at first because my arm definitely felt a lot of pain, and I am also pretty stubborn. So it looked like, big picture, it looked like it was going to be even longer, So, but after a few days, I would even just went to class and I kind of watched and I just did part of the drills, and you guys were great because you worked around me too. So I was able to do something, but not do the whole thing, just work with my left arm. And I slowly was able to come back on the mats and do things. But I think that's also important for those big injuries, like looking at the big picture. Do I want to do this for long term? My answer was yeah. So what I had to do is I had to slowly build back up, and I was able to do it. But again, it's that determination. Now, years ago, if I had thought of myself getting hurt in a competition or anywhere with jiu-jitsu, I would have thought that would have been it. I would have quit. I wouldn't think that I would want to keep going. But I absolutely learned how to work with it and then around it, and now I'm better, So it's pretty incredible, the mindset that goes through it, because at first I think anybody who's thinking about it, even, I'm pretty sure most of us hesitate to join jiu-jitsu because we're like, we might get hurt, right? Yes. You see the people and you're like, oh, they're I don't know, their wrist hurts, their back hurts, you think of something,
ribs,
anything.
legs,
Yeah.
all of it.
But then we live it's like the joy you get from doing jiu-jitsu is so much greater that it's worth working through the pain. And I feel like it's a big lesson in life, because in life you are going to go through pain. Life is not easy, it's not a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through hurdles, whether they're physical or mental. And this is just like a perfect example of how to go through it and still push through and enjoy
it's another
it.
parallel between
Another
being
one.
on the mats and life.
It
really. It's really kind of
You kind of prove something to yourself too, I think. I think that I don't think you really know how mentally strong you are until you have to deal with physical pain and then everyday life. And I mean, still get the groceries, still wash the dishes, still, I was without the use of my right hand for a little bit, maybe a full week, I'd say. And that was so frustrating because it was just annoying, I can deal with the pain, but the mental part of it is what is the hardest, I think.
Yeah, you have to adapt.
Yes. And you're just
thing.
and if you are stubborn, which I agree, I think majority of us are stubborn. I get angry and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's fine, move on. I can do this.
And then you do
did
it.
other things. This person did this and I did this. And I know comparison isn't great, but sometimes when you think of it in a positive way, I think it is. I think comparing like someone else that I've seen where if they've been hurt and then they continue to go, like that's a big encouragement for me, because it's like, if this person has the willpower and if we have, maybe similar schedules and a similar lifestyle and they can do it and I take care of my body and take my vitamins and stuff, I can do it too.
Yeah.
So and then rolling comes into it. And that actually I think helped my game a lot when I got hurt at first. I hurt my rib, but that didn't take as long to heal as my hand. And I think it actually changed my game up a lot more. Like I couldn't use so much of my strength, so I relied more on what my technique was. So, I mean, that's the positive side, I think, of injury for sure.
Yeah, I think you cannot prevent the injury, but you can reduce the chances.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no prevention. Like if you're there, unless you don't
Do anything.
do anything.
You don't do anything.
Even though, but you can reduce the chance that you get hurt, right? So for me, two things that are very important. You understand where the injuries will happen, right? So like my neck, there is also like a lot of things like a chronic pain, and what is that you just got hurt over there? Your hand got hurt. It was not a chronic, you just got hurt. But the chronic, like my neck is chronic pain. I have 4 years before that, so I think there is this piece also you have to look at, so understand where the injuries happen. Like if you get stuck, sometimes I roll with Natalie and she's stuck me. I was like, I normally tap straight away because I can see where the position, my neck, and I don't want that, also I'm older than you guys. So I want to keep going. So
You want to preserve.
I make sure like I
Take care of yourself.
understand where the things can happen on me. And, and another thing is, the physical capacity, which means I think the physical capacity, what you're doing, because if you strengthen your muscles or if you do mobility, I know you work from home and do these things. I know you work out a lot, and if you do those things, it maybe reduce the chance that you get prevent. There is no prevention, but you reduce the chance that you that happen. Another thing is, and then when the injury happen, what do you do for that? Is the another piece, because
Wait, before you keep going on that, I want to touch base on that, how it teaches you kind of your boundaries and where you can push a little bit more and a little bit more. It's super important, and I think that's one of the things jiu-jitsu teaches you. At first, when you walk in, I think we tend to think like, injuries that'll happen to somebody else. That's not going to happen to me.
Yes.
We have that false sense of security.
Like you're dispensable.
Yeah, like it's not me. It's they're probably doing something, But it helps you. A small injury or just soreness, it starts teaching you like, okay, this is like you with your neck. That's a chronic thing. I've had neck issues before jiu-jitsu as well, so I'm aware. I stretch a lot before, because I know that it can get tweaked.
And then you,
so it's important. This is one of those places where we learn the importance of taking care of ourselves. Where everywhere else we are taught constantly to take care of other people. If you don't take care of yourself, there's no longevity in this. And we're all in it for the long haul. And most people are, right? They go in and they want to reach that black belt level. So if we want the big picture, you can't be going in and getting hurt all the time, because then you won't make it to next month.
Yeah,
so
self-care for me has skyrocketed since starting jiu-jitsu because I want to not be, dying on the mats here. Of course I want to be stronger and like more agility and all this stuff, but the pain is different. Like you were saying, like our mobility
is important.
Of course it excels as you do jiu-jitsu, but if you don't do more at home, like I have to stretch a lot. I live in hyperextension, like, it's just the way my body is. Whereas like, I don't know what people do at home, but I've seen guys just walk and like come home come to the gym from their work clothes and then just put it on and go in and do all these fancy flips.
My boyfriend, I'm sorry, babe, but he's 44 and he's like, man, I don't know, I'm so sore. And I'm like, you need to stretch more.
Yeah.
Before and after.
Did you take your
body's
vitamins?
trying to tell you something, bro.
Yeah.
I think it's more like, you prepare your body to be exposed.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
right? So like, I think those preparation and what you do before, or what you do when you're, when you're not there is very important
Yes.
to be there. Not that's gonna make you don't have, because it happens. And then another thing is like how you take care of that. Like, okay, you
Right.
hand your hand, but you said that you can still go and working with your other hand, or do different things, but you still can go. And then there's things that you need to take time and take care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to
because
actually
a
rest
A
your
lot of we
body.
tend to don't, okay, they will pass, or this is gonna go, or that, but there's a lot of things that you can be done and easier to be done when happen.
To help it.
Yes,
Yeah.
then like, okay, it will be next week, but then don't get better, when you're there again. So you have to and I did not know that before. I learned like recently, like on my life, maybe 5-6 years ago, that because I'm older now and I feel more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely feel more, and I know things takes longer, to recover also. So I do think the preparation is really
I think another thing
important
too that you
also.
and I have talked about why we don't want to compete is because being at home and training with you guys, like I talked about before, we know each other and we can talk to each other, or even, somebody that comes in the gym that we don't know. We set this tone in our gym specifically. I can't speak for others. That we protect each other, even though we're going hard.
Yeah.
But you
gonna
can't do
stop.
that in competition. It's all
Amanda,
in.
but I gotta tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I want to compete.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited if you compete, Mika. That would be fantastic.
If I can do what I
gonna
want to do
happen.
physically, I would compete. But I have a long journey for that.
That's okay.
Oh, you would kill it too.
Yeah.
You
I
totally
need to
would.
lose like
I also
40
think like
pounds.
as
Bucket
old
list.
as you get, the injuries, they tend to become chronic also, I don't know if that's a reality, or it's just because I had few things that it was like, no, that's just okay. But like,
Oh no, I'm so excited. I love confessing. Yes, let's do this. I'm sorry. Totally off top. You're going to compete now. This is so exciting.
Happening next
this
year.
is all maybe next year.
Yeah, no,
Great.
maybe next
Excellent.
year. It's next year.
Well, that's only 2 months away.
Yeah.
That'd be great though. Seriously. And I know what you mean by chronic pain. I had my left shoulder is completely messed up from just stupid stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And falling from like very high
Jumping
heights,
out of trees.
being pushed, jumping, like,
Yeah.
fighting, getting whacked. Like I just had such like a rough, rowdy childhood, which I'm very grateful for. I was outside a lot, but still my left side's not great. But my shoulders, like I always have to be like kind of careful and mindful. That's why I try to use my legs a little bit more now, because I want to be in this for the long haul as long as my body will allow me to. So I really do try to eat the right things, drink enough water, take, the supplements that I need to take, review all of the ingredients, because, they just put a bunch of crap in our stuff now,
Yeah.
So be careful with that too.
Yeah, nutrition's huge.
Huge.
Another
That's a
thing
whole
is like,
episode.
Yeah.
don't compare yourself with anyone,
No.
So I go there and like you see Natalie
That's
rolls
different.
like 7 rolls a day. Like
Yeah,
different.
she's an animal.
Exactly. But I mean, you can compare with those things and you have to push yourself until a limit,
Yeah.
but a limit that you don't get injured. No, but it like you can reduce the chances,
Yes.
But because we can compare with like, aerobic capacity that she has with some strength capacity that we have. So it's different things. And then sometimes people
No.
wanna
it's all
like
different.
compete in the sense that, just being there, I'm gonna roll more, but and then end up getting injury,
Yeah,
and then
listening to
another
yourself about
thing-
that. I had
Yeah.
to do that the other day because somebody wanted to, and I was like,
That is a skill.
and then some. Yeah, it takes time, and it
does.
it gets on your ego also. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, gosh, why I cannot? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
This dang bodysuit. That's what it feels like sometimes.
I
Like,
know,
come
and I used to get more. I was never a very strong person or anything, and never big.
No, but
I
you are
always like
though.
that.
You do have strength.
It does not a thing for me anymore. Like a thing, for me, it's just able to be there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When I get now and when I get older, so I wanna, reduce my chance to be injured or
Seriously
like
injured or
don't
hurt.
have time to be there.
You know what was a big thing for me is watching your husband go through his shoulder surgery.
Super inspiring.
And
dude.
he did the right things, right?
He
He
did.
did his PT. He did his homework. He knew his limits on the mat. He stayed off the mats for a while.
Yeah.
And then he came back, and he's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Shout out. One of my favorite rollers.
He's pretty
but
incredible.
it's like he did the work, it's like
He did. And he actually did what we all do, though. True confessions. And he jumped in the first time a little bit rougher than he should have.
After
he went
he
all
came
in.
back?
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine. He was
was
ready.
he was really good about it. He came to class when he could, and sometimes you can't be there because it's too tempting to jump in and you're not ready. So he did all those things. And then when he did go first back, went really hard and he was a little sore. But then he went back and he's done his PT. He continues to do his PT and all these things to prevent further injuries. His knees, his shoulder, like everything. He does all the things to prevent any further.
He has
ones,
all the
which
gadgets.
He does have all. He's always loved gadgets. He's like always into the latest one. Knows all about
I
it.
can get behind that though,
But he encourages people all the time.
and
to
it
do
seems
them.
like he's had residual. He's in the military, so a lot of physical aspect there.
He's
like
a nurse
injuries.
also.
It takes a lot to
understand
put
the
Humpty
body.
Dumpty back together.
It does,
right?
And he was a skateboarder, a surfer. So he's beat up his body, and that's something that I wanted to touch base on when you were talking about like now we feel it, and AK, you're getting there. Like you also did a lot of things before, so we put a lot of wear and tear on our bodies, and we never did any recovery for them because when you're younger, you don't feel it. You just jump back in. So you don't do any massages, you don't do any like lacrosse ball.
I do
all the things. Well, when you were younger, that's what I'm saying. When you're younger, you didn't.
I didn't do
When
any
you're
of that
20, you don't do any of those things. You're just like you do it for
Honestly,
like a self care.
Like it'll buff out.
So
No,
now
I feel
I
better
feel
tomorrow.
like we see those effects of we should have been doing stuff like to recover our PT moves. We should have done like all these mobility exercises so that when we're hurting now, it wouldn't be as bad. So I think we're starting to do it, which is good because we feel the injuries or we feel the pain, the soreness. We need to do it.
Yeah.
But when you're young and 20, like those 20-year-olds who walk in and just dive right into rolling without any and don't feel anything.
All this energy.
Imagine what you're doing to your body though. Your body still is in like shock, and it needs to like be released later. You know what I mean? It needs to be worked out. All those muscles are sore.
Yeah.
So-
And you only feel it like when you really start to even like a twinge,
It's
just
too late.
be
It's like-
careful
yeah.
because like don't continue to push it. Like I tell myself this even too, and I'm usually pretty good about it, but sometimes I still do the same thing and I push it to like a limit, sometimes beyond it. And and then later I have to deal with it. Later I have to, put those air compression things on my legs or make sure my knee isn't really seriously, hurt. But now, because I started doing those things like almost 2 years ago, and I caught on pretty quickly seeing everybody else, especially as a white belt. And my boyfriend, he's a brown, and he's been all over in jiu-jitsu really. And I was lucky to have that because if not, I probably wouldn't pay so close attention to any of the little tiny injuries that I had that could become big injuries.
Right.
And now since I've been doing the work, I notice that my body repairs itself so much faster, even bruises. Even the bruises on my body, they're gone like within a day. I think I have some from yesterday somewhere on my arm. But I mean, it's insane what your body will do when you really take care of it.
Yeah.
Also, you appreciate your body so much more once it's back to like healthy. Like you get past a recovery, an injury, and you're like, I feel great. And I mean, some people have it way worse, and they're still crushing it out there.
Yep.
It definitely makes you appreciate things. In your body.
100%. I was kidding when I said bodysuit. I do appreciate my body. It's a temple, but I get what you mean. Sometimes it's hard, like especially if you get sick or anything like that too. You have to know your limit. I mean, I hate when I get sick because I try to stay off the mat for a couple of days, and it sucks. But at the same time, if I would push myself, I could open myself to another part of my body getting hurt. Even just being sick because you're dehydrated, your body's trying to already fight something off.
Then you're a super spreader.
Yeah.
Once a year.
But I
Once a year.
mean, it's, you just have to be kind to your body. That's all. Be good to it. That's all you get.
Yeah. A lot of self-care.
Yes.
Yep.
Anyone else? Any
No.
question?
I think that's it.
Okay, there you go.
Well, I think that's it for today. If you like our resenha today, please follow us on Geek Squad Podcast, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Share with your friends, your teammates, your training partner. Quote from today is from Rickson Grace. I can resist any physical pain if there is a reason.
Thanks, Magawe.
I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Os.